Look at the deliberate, coiled tension here. This is the 9th lunar mansion of the zodiac, Ashlesha Nakshatra. It operates on a concentrated, highly magnetic stellar energy, completely hidden within the zodiac sign of Cancer. This diagram maps exactly where that energy sits. Ashlesha scans from 16 degrees and 40 minutes to exactly 30 degrees in Cancer. Because it is entirely contained within this single astrological sign, its power never spills over into the next. It stays dense, tightly wound, and perfectly enclosed. That containment explains its name. The Sanskrit root ashlesh translates to clinging, wrapping around, or embracing. This creates a psychological paradox for the native. One side is a warm, protective hold, the other is a suffocating, possessive grip that refuses to let go. This tension is hardwired into its planetary rulers. Ashlesha sits in Cancer, a sign ruled by the moon, which governs maternal nurturing and deep emotions. But Ashlesha's specific stellar lord is Mercury, the planet of cold logic, sharp intellect, and calculation. Put a highly analytical Mercury brain inside a sensitive moon shell, and you get a very specific personality type. Outwardly, they appear gentle and fragile. Inwardly, they operate as a live scanner, instantly decoding body language, identifying true intentions, and mapping vulnerabilities. They see you long before you see them. Ashlesha's true nature is an invisible ambush position. It's an atmospheric force you feel in a room, making its natives the ultimate silent decoders of human psychology. These ancient palm leaves record the mythological roots of this nakshatra, tracing it back to the lineage of sage Kashyapa and his wives, Kadru and Vinata. Pleased with their devotion, the sage offered both wives a boon. Vinata asked for only 2 sons, provided they were incredibly powerful. Kadru, however, requested 1,000 powerful serpent children, the Naga Devtas, who became the presiding deities of Ashlesha. Driven by jealousy over a divine horse, Kadru made a wager with her sister about the color of the horse's tail. To ensure she won, she ordered her serpent children to tightly wrap themselves around the tail so it would appear black from a distance. The children blindly complied, securing a victory through pure manipulation. Because Ashlesha is housed entirely within Cancer, the zodiac sign of maternal roots and the lunar soul, the stories of Kadru function as a psychological map. This manifests as a concentrated pattern of emotional karma inherited directly from the mother side of the family. The myth also provides the blueprint for transformation. On the left, Kadru's son Sheshanaga detached from his family to bear the earth's weight. On the right, his brother Vasuki endured intense physical friction as a churning rope so the gods could extract the nectar of immortality. These sons represent the potential of an Ashlesha destiny. They move beyond familial manipulation to assume immense worldly responsibilities, frequently sacrificing their own comfort to act as a catalyst for others' healing. Think of a straight copper wire. Its magnetic field is weak, but wind that wire into tight coils and it generates enough torque to drive a heavy motor. This power translates professionally as Saturn's radar for sensing corporate threats, or Mercury's ability to channel a coiled intellect into finance and cryptography. When Rahu, the head of the serpent, sits in Ashlesha, it creates a double serpent energy. It grants intense occult and psychic abilities, but it frequently results in a disorganized genius, someone with incredible depth of knowledge who needs a conscious effort to organize their thoughts. In romantic relationships, Venus placed here often breeds secrecy and trust issues. Jupiter, however, acts as a filter. Whenever paralyzed by self-doubt, an intellectual mentor appears to neutralize anxiety and restore the native's optimism. The soul's evolution here is tracked across 4 quarters, or padas. The first faces inherent tension with authority figures. The second quarter, however, moves into the Capricorn Navamsha, introducing a Saturnian need for tangible structure. Here, the native's self-assurance is anchored to their material assets. When resources are low, their entire demeanor shifts. The third quarter carries the volatile energy of the 8th house, making the native prone to sudden windfalls or inheritances. But classical texts warn that unearned wealth rarely brings long-term stability. It leads to a downfall unless it is aggressively redirected toward charity and family support. This immovable gravity reflects the integrity required by the fourth quarter. Natives here face trials meant to transform their soul. If they exploit the religious faith of others to sell expensive remedies or rituals, they face swift, devastating karmic consequences in this lifetime. Whether it's planetary placements or the specific lunar quarter, Ashlesha acts as a cosmic pressure cooker. It constantly tests the native, forcing them to balance immense hidden power with strict ethical integrity. Notice how this serpent retreats backward into the shadows rather than striking. When Ashlesha native sends hostility, they don't engage in loud, fiery battles. They deploy a silent mute mode, creating immediate physical and emotional distance to protect themselves. This happens because Mars, the planet of direct confrontation, is debilitated in the sign of Cancer. Ashlesha restricts that fiery aggression, converting physical combat entirely into psychological strategy, narrative control, and passive resistance. This portrait of Mahatma Gandhi shows exactly what happens when that placement is mastered. Gandhi had Mars in Ashlesha, and he channeled this restricted, non-confrontational energy into the weapon of ahimsa, or nonviolence, bringing an empire to a halt without firing a shot. But there is a central psychological friction point here, the venom of resentment. An Ashlesha native registers every slight and betrayal. They are permanently written into a mental hard drive that has no delete function. Over time, these unresolved hurts build up. This venom rarely harms the person who wronged them. Instead, it turns inward. As the native tries to rise in life, the stored poison manifests as self-sabotage, chronic anxiety, and internal bodily inflammation. This sacred Homa fire symbolizes Ashlesha's intensely sharp, dissolving nature. In elective astrology, this energy is avoided for public unions like marriage. Instead, it is highly favorable for medical surgeries, detoxification, and executing confidential work that requires absolute privacy. To unlock their genius, Ashlesha natives must engage in the active practice of forgiveness. By releasing historical betrayals, they stop the inward flow of poison, transmuting their experiences into a unique capacity to heal themselves and the world around them.